yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I might leap cause I'm knee deep. Peace to the cheap seats, dirty like Dallas, but cleaner than a neat freak. Sugar, sugar, floss for my sweet teeth. Lead the band like Springsteen on East Street. Don't speak weak, don't count sheep, because I don't sleep. Easy here, so king, no key, don't fiend.
So I have these things called OCs, and basically, if you don't know what OC means, it simply stands for original character, which in turn means characters of mine that I've created, and a lot of these characters have backstories. This character that you see here now is a character I created way back in May of 2014. She first appeared on a loose piece of paper, partnered with another OC I made directly after called Infirma. They both exist in the same universe, and they're both supposed to be superheroes. Unlike Infirma, Onyx, even though I spelled her name Onyx at the time because I was like 5 years old and lazy, is a human. Also, I would like to note this was before I knew about Steven Universe, and she doesn't actually have a gem. Her name is just Onyx. Anyways, she was born in China / she is Chinese, and when she was just a baby, she was kidnapped and put through multiple experiments similar to Infirma before she was conscious. Infirma's backstory is way more elaborate, so I'm going to dive into that, and it'll explain a lot of what happened to Onyx. Infirma was created by DAS, which basically means the Department of Artificial Studies. There was a nuclear explosion which triggered her awakening. She originally was a non-functioning cyborg, though she suddenly came to life in the midst of the radiation. There was never enough energy to fuel her beforehand. The site was abandoned, and she was actually left there for 3 years, immobilized by the debris. Comes the year 2062, she's discovered by solo scientist Dr. Zingina. Originally Zingina's, but like, why? Why did I do that? Anyways, he was actually there doing a team effort with other scientists to clear / retrieve items and or projects from the site. He took her in and decided to raise her as a normal being, as his daughter. This is mainly because she reminded him of his daughter who had died of cancer years before. He notes in his studies, quote unquote, sample no 890HVV, as so labeled on her right shoulder, has been showing signs of human emotion and high intelligence. Due to this, I cannot keep referring to her as a subject, and I must refer to her as a being. She takes a liking to touching and being near fire, of which her outer self seems durable too. For this reason, I will call her Infirma. Later on, when Infirma becomes more conscious of herself and her surroundings, she also begins to feel more out of place. She does remember the first 3 years of her quote-unquote life, and because of this, to release her anger, she focuses on her training. She is able to catch things on fire, as well as extinguishing the fires she creates. Soon, Dr. Zingina discovered she was radioactive on the inside, though she was still safe to be around because of how well contained the radioactivity was. Because of this, she could concentrate the energy to create a sort of black fire. Due to the different elements she uses to create the fire became black. She learns to contain it because if not, it could result in a devastating disaster, much like the nuclear explosion that happened before. Eventually, she leaves her home and meets Onyx. Okay, so I know that was a lot about Infirma and not Onyx, but because Onyx's backstory isn't as well developed, but they're from the same universe, it was a bit necessary. So, quick recap. Born in China, kidnapped as a baby, Onyx was exposed to experiments that were also conducted by DAS. She escaped before the explosion, and as soon as she heard it happen, she went looking for any possible survivors. She heard it was a search party of scientists that went, and also overheard there were some quote-unquote projects reclaimed. Onyx knew that they were either recovered because of the evidence aspect, or because they were still alive, and if so, they must have amazing capabilities to be able to withstand such an event. She now works independently, sort of like a vigilante, except she doesn't really kill people, to find and help others like her. Because if they withstood the explosion, they could definitely help her in her mission to destroy organizations like DAS and to protect others like themselves. So, before she escaped, she was actually not kidnapped by DAS, but by another organization located actually in China. The name of this organization is unknown, or I couldn't come up with one. They trained her to become an assassin of sorts, and eventually she became so strong, too strong, that the secret organization knew she had the power to overthrow them if she ever considered the option. And she was constantly starting to question the purpose of the organization as well. So they sent her to DAS. To her, she was told she was going to leave to find the answer she was looking for, though when she arrived, she immediately knew that that was not the case. DAS usually deals with people of supernatural powers, and since Onyx was just a human, they knew they could contain her. But not only that, they could experiment on her. Because nobody comes to DAS as a supernatural being, DAS is much like the SCP, if you heard of that before, except they don't just contain supernatural beings, they create them, sometimes even out of nothing. So, during her time there, she is experimented on, though a lot of the experiments were mental because of her individuality and signs of strong will in a fight. And her name actually originates from the darkness she exhibited, as she showed no signs of other emotions present in a fight. All the experiments failed, but eventually Onyx knew she couldn't keep it up much longer. And all of this put even more strain on her original chain of questions, and she now demands an answer. She intentionally injured herself and fell into a coma. She woke up sooner than later, but pretended to maintain her unconscious state until the coast was clear and she escaped. She took as many medical supplies as possible, including surgical tools and already filled syringes, to assist her in her escape. This was the only time she has ever killed anybody, though I think it's safe to say it was in self-defense. She was there for a year, and then another year later, the explosion happened. She would soon meet Infirma on their own individual travels back to the site, and Onyx would recognize her immediately. Well, that's pretty much it. If you follow me on Facebook, you might find some of this information on some of my older posts, but I changed a lot of it since my post back in 2014-2016. So, this is the official story. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.
Paper when they fold, crease, gold key, please, you a phony Master Roshi. Bitch, I said I'm Mario, aka the OG. I was eating shrooms, maybe Yoshi got a nose.